for you to assess where you are or get in the dimensions of it. So take a quick test. I'll give you 2 minutes to just put the first thing that comes to your mind as far as the rating is concerned. So these are 7 questions, a very short one, very revealing one. So take a minute to just answer that. I'll just give you a minute for that. To make you think about what are the dimensions, for example. All right. Okay. That was a minute, and I think that is quite enough to answer these. If you look at it, these are some of the questions we ask. Am I worried about my future? Maybe you will not be getting most of the time, like, the all of the time for all of them. But then if we are going through life, it is like a seesaw. Definitely, we will not be able to be having a static life. Today, if thing is fine, tomorrow anything can happen to turn things topsy turvy. Who thought the world will go through what we're going through right now? So, how do we sail through the life? Is all these questions indicating, do you have good relationships? Are you decisive? Can you think? Can you handle your problems? Can you feel internally relaxed? Do you feel you're useful? And then feeling optimistic about future. So these are just a sense. So what is a good sense of mental well-being? Feel relatively confident in yourself and have a positive self-esteem so that you will not be hurting yourself internally when you feel negative about oneself. Feel and express a range of emotions. Mental well-being doesn't mean all the time you're happy. When you're angry and you deal with it. When you're sad and you deal with it. When you're scared, do something to take care of yourself. And build and maintain good relationship with others. This is supremely important, whether it is in the workplace or in the family. Today, it's very strange. Families are saying, I don't know how to live with my family for so long. Whole day, I can never imagine. Some of weekend, I used to sleep and manage, but then now all the time looking at some family member or the other is not very comfortable. I wonder at those statements, what have we done in order to come to that point where we are not able to live under the same roof very comfortably and live and work productively, feel engaged with the world around you, and cope with the stresses of daily life. These are small indicators, and this is the sense of good mental well being. Now, what can disturb us? It is, as I said, life is not static. So we need to learn to identify our early signs of kind of disturbance, which are not bothered about appearance. Somebody around you. See, today mental health is not just about taking care of yourself. You also can look for these signs in others and then reach out and help. That's very important. It's very important to take help. It is also very important to tell people they can take help. But people are hesitant, so not bothered about appear. Help doesn't mean um, just reaching out to somebody and saying, "Hey, I see you disturbed," is also enough. Somebody comes not clean, lacking self-care, absent very often, long hours of sleep during the daytime, an inability to sleep at night, no hunger, unable to concentrate, very withdrawn, don't feel like working, isolating oneself, like shutting the door, and teenagers do a lot these days, not able to relate to people, no communication with family and friends, no physical activity, brooding, crying a lot, no playing or laughing, no socialization. So these are all something that we can easily pick up because when we see people around, you can know something is wrong because they are not bothered about the way they come across or they relate, etc. These are simpler signs. What are the another set of signs which we need to early warning signs of something going wrong deeply is eating or sleeping too much or too little, pulling away from people and usual activities, having low or no energy, feeling numb or like nothing matters, having unexplained aches and pains. feeling helpless or hopeless, smoking, drinking, or using drugs more than usual, feeling unusually confused, forgetful, on edge, angry, upset, worried, or scared, yelling or fighting with family and friends, experiencing severe mood swings that cause problems in relationships, having persistent thoughts and memories you can't get out of your head, hearing voices or believing things that are not true, thinking of harming yourself and others, and inability to perform daily tasks like taking care of your kids or to getting to work or to school. Now, these are all serious where the mental state that the person is in is affecting their daily functioning. This is a warning sign. The difference between the previous list and this is that simpler, this is deeper. And so these are the situations. I didn't want to talk about mental illness, but these are the common names that are there in the list of and things that have to be really taken seriously. And today's talk is not about these, but just know that these conditions are there. And these are all indicators that the person needs more than just a little bit of help. So what does counseling do? Now I'm saying this because when we let me just explain here when do we counsel. If you go here, this point, the person is able to feel engaged with the world around you, live and work productively. So if the person is not able to do all these things, then you need to seek counseling, which is a process in which the counselor or the therapist helps the client understand the causes for problems and guides the person through the process of learning to make good life decisions. Counseling works when the person can think, focus, understand, and implement changes. So here I like to pause for a minute because when do you seek counseling? Usually we can take counsel from people we care, we love, we look up to sometimes, and then it's helpful. The person you're able to get through. And so this is not about something that we would manage on your own. But if the problem recurs and if this mental state doesn't change and the person is caught into, I don't know, again and again, this is happening to me, I'm not able to stop it. That's a bond. That dialogue is something that indicates a person needs to seek help. So now when we say counselor, the counselors don't solve our problems. We as counselors don't solve our clients' problems. It's a little difficult to imagine that we can think of even being the problem solver. The base is each person is capable of solving their own problems. The thing is they don't know that they can do it and they don't know how to do it. So counselors help them generate those options so that they can manage whatever is disturbing them and then overcome whatever problem they are facing. So here I would like to point out what is wrong in asking somebody who is more experienced in that. They are limited with their experience of either their own experience or the knowledge that they have gathered. But when you go to a counselor, a professional counselor, they would know the range of problems that people have and they would be able to help the person make better choices. For example, there is a way of understanding human behavior called neuro-linguistic programming. That's all about understanding how people understand life, understand themselves, and then how do we redefine? How do we redefine whatever we think about ourselves or people or the situation, etc. It helps us to be on the positive side when we are under stress, for example. So helps the client understand the causes of problem. Usually the causes of the problems are not outside. They are inside the person's head. What do I mean by that? There are always provocations from outside, no doubt. How do we respond to those provocations or those problems? What happens to us when we are responding to those challenges in life? Somebody gives a feedback. Appraisal is a word that is used. You didn't do this very well this quarter. So it is very heartbreaking for the person. The person doesn't need to sleep for 3-4 days, and then if the person doesn't come around, it's affecting the person deeply. So if instead of blaming the situation, feeling victimized by the situation, if the person is able to understand what is the cause for the problem, which is lower performance, then that person will be able to look at what is his contribution in creating that situation of inefficiency and what is it that he can do now that is different, which will enable him to perform and enhance his performance better, so he'll feel very good. This can happen if the person has a positive self-esteem. One failure doesn't define anybody. Is there anyone in this world who has never failed in anything? No. So each person has to come up with different strategies. We have a strategy for living, we have a strategy for losing. So when we have a strategy for living, we are not bringing that up when there is a problem. And that is the reason why people take drastic measures when they are not able to face challenges. And guides a person through the process of learning to make good life decisions. One of the first things that we do when we get a client is to get an assurance that they will take care of themselves and protect themselves from any harm. And that is a fundamental need because life is precious. Challenges are not here to destroy us. Challenges are here to show us how strong we are, how much of potential we have in order to meet the challenges. And counseling works when the person can think, focus, understand, and implement changes. These are very important. If the person is emotionally upset, they cannot think. You can't counsel that person. The person needs psychiatric support. Now, people are in our country, not only in our country, in many other places, also psychiatrists are not favored. In fact, we counselors have get clients who would tell us, ma'am, like I have had clients who would tell me, ma'am, if I will people know I'm your client? I'd say no, we maintain confidentiality. Then he would say, supposing you meet me in a public function, you should not come and speak to me, okay? Because I don't want anybody. They will ask me, they know you are a counselor, then they will think that I have gone to counsel, something's wrong with me. That's the kind of fear people have when they come to a counselor. Imagine going to a psychiatrist. But there are conditions where the person has to be supported with medication for a short while, supported with counseling. Then, the person can overcome the problem easily. Just as we have a fever, we take a crocin, we manage. Then we have persistent fever, then we go to our general practitioner, GP or physician, and then that person would do some tests and then decide, do you need a specialist or can you manage it? So we are saying that counseling is something we only use talk. We are not supposed to give medication. No counselor is ethically allowed to give any medication to any client. We only can talk and understand, help the person make better choices in life. So the person should be able to think and focus on what we are saying. We may use interventions, and during the interventions, the person should be able to focus. And if they're not able to focus, definitely they need external help and then implement changes. It's not enough to just talk, we need to change. Because if we continue to do what we are doing today, we'll continue to be getting what we are getting today, which is the same result, which may not be helpful. I'm going to stop here for a minute, Molly, and take any questions if there are any. Molly?
Yeah, I will.
Are there any questions? I'm seeing the chat.
I'm allowing participants to unmute themselves. So if they have any questions, they could ask, because this is a critical slide in which Madam has explained about the concept of counseling and how it helps. So in case anybody has any doubt, they can unmute themselves and talk. I have created the provision of unmuting yourself. Those who have a question can unmute themselves. I guess no questions. You are muted, madam. Madam, you are muted. 1 second.
Yeah,
now you're unmuted. Sorry.
I didn't mute myself, so I was wondering.
I muted everybody so that
Okay. Now when you're talking about person able to understand, think, we need to manage our emotions every day. Emotions are the ones that are creating mental illness. See, it is not overnight somebody has a problem. That has been a pattern. Person hasn't been able to manage their emotions. Why should we manage our emotions? This is a question. Why should we not manage our emotions? Our emotions decide whether we live happily or unhappily. We will live, we'll be breathing. But are we happy? Are we peaceful? Are we productive? Are we joyful? See, people have forgotten what it is to be having a joyful life. Anywhere we turn, today we are seeing stress, anxiety, and a lot of fear in people. But there are also people who are enjoying this period of staying home and working in whatever sense that they can and making the full use of it. It's a matter of attitude. And so, if that attitude comes from the way we manage our emotions, why should we manage our emotions? We take any fundamental emotion, which are four: sad, mad, scared, and glad. Sad is sadness, mad is angry and the shades of it, scared is fear and shades of it, and glad, which is joy, delight, bliss, etc. I don't think many people think of bliss anyway. So there are two dimensions of emotions: Physiological side, the bodily changes such as breathing, pounding heart, flushed face, sweating, palms, pulse rate, gland secretions, etc. And psychological side, which is state of excitement or perturbation marked by strong feelings. So when we talk about emotions, we are not in touch of how it affects our body. Today we have enough research to say 25, 30 years back, we didn't have this much of research as we have today about how emotions affect. Now, I want to share here as a trainer, when I began in 40 years back, I was told, well, when you come for work, emotions should not be brought to work. You need to be very calm and composed, then only you can work. And in this area, women are not very good because women don't, they express their emotions. Men can manage their emotions, they don't become emotional. And I used to wonder, do men keep their hormones at home, their bodily chemicals at home when they come for work? They are also human beings. They'll also feel. Maybe they won't express, but they will definitely have affectation on their health. It's something that I have challenged, and I always used to say we need to give ourselves permission to feel what we do at any given moment. In acknowledgement of the feeling itself is a release. I am feeling scared. I am feeling sad. Then our mind will allow us to proceed. Denial doesn't help there. However, if the one is subjected to any of the unhelpful emotions, like how does emotion affect our body? Anger, very often it weakens the liver, which means the energy of the person gets depleted because the liver is the energy house of the body. Second is grief. If someone is mostly sad, I want you to think about people you know in your life. If somebody is constantly sad, they may have breathing problems because their lung gets affected. They can't breathe because they're so sad. And worry. There are people who are so worried. I know what will happen. I know what will happen. They will have something called, that weakens the stomach, so the digestion problems will be there. Again, stress weakens the heart and the brain. So the more we manage, this is the fun finding in the last 30, 40 years, which is stress is a killer. And so we need to manage our stress. To manage our stress, we need to manage our emotions. And the next one is fear, which weakens the kidney. Someone who lives in a lot of fear will have kidney damage eventually. This is not today, tomorrow, overnight, in the 1 year or 2 years. It's a pattern. If they have grown up with fear and then they are living with fear, definitely it will affect their kidney to a large extent. Now, this research has come in, and what now they have found is the next diagram may scare you a little bit, but it is important to know that. If, for example, there is heaviness, sick, there is a lot of problems here, mild depression, etc., when the head is affected. If this kind of thought is weighing on me down, I can't stop thinking of it, can affect the brain, the head. It's all my fault. I've got to take it on. I can't do enough. This kind of thoughts leads to guilt and burden feeling, which affects the shoulders. Now, I could never have said it. They won't listen. I hate them. So there's fear, anger, and despair affects the throat. There is never gonna be enough. I mustn't stop. We lose it all. There is insecurity, no support, fear of loss affects that back. I will never see them again. It's all over. There is only me now. Sadness, grief, sense of loss. And then we are never gonna make it. They are gonna catch us. Tension, dread, and anxiety affects their back, their lower abdomen. How dare you? You have no right. I'll teach you a lesson. Rage and sense of injustice, indigestion affects the knees, the legs. I mustn't do this. I mustn't feel this. They will kill me. There's a tightness and fear and numbness in the genitals. I let them down. It's too late. I'm worthless. It affects our ankles with shame and failure and pessimism. So this is the emotional body which I want to share to tell you that this is proven. So watch your thoughts like the constant gardener. Watch your thoughts. Every leaf in the garden tells the health of these things. So what is a tree of mental wellness? The tree of mental wellness has the base as the roots are family, physical wellness, work, and relationships. Whereas how does it depict? How do you know somebody is well? When they can experience respect themselves and respect others, when they can communicate clearly. I've been a communication trainer from the beginning. And I have always wondered what makes somebody unable to express themselves is that earlier experiences, how they have come up, how they have been brought up. Have they had the freedom of expression and encouragement? Those of you who are parents, please encourage your children. Let them make mistakes, but always be there, become the cheerleader and say, come on, you can get up and go, you can do it. So communication is the way the soul expresses itself, and that is very free and flowing. The person has wellness if they're able to trust people. When you work in teams, for example, if someone has a trust issue, the whole team's energy will be sapped. Similarly, empathy. Can leaders empathize with the challenges that the team members have? Can he have laughter in the group? People don't laugh. You look at any situation today, anywhere you go, people work with a grim face. I'm not talking about Corona times. Corona times, we don't know whether they are laughing or smiling because of the mask. And so, laughter is something that one can laugh even with the mask on. Compassion, this is missing. We are not at all sensitive to others. We are not at all sensitive to others. We are very focused on our own self mostly. We don't even have the courtesy to say thank you when somebody does something for us. We don't see somebody suffering and reach out and say, is there something that I can do? Compassion is missing in the society today, and that is where we need to focus and develop these as a very, very important quality. Is it possible to be compassionate? We are designed for it neurologically. Why do I say that? Because we have something called mirror neurons in our brain. We are born with it. Mirror neurons is the one which mirrors whatever we see. A child learns to do things looking at the parent, smiling, all those things. The parent does, the child looks unblinking and then picks up. That mirror neurons is what helps us. Today, research shows Dr. Ramachandran, who is an Indian neuroscientist, has proven that mirror neurons help us to become empathetic and compassionate. When the difference, see, when we go through an experience, we are impacted. But when we see somebody going through the experience, also we are impacted because of the mirror neurons. So when we are able to empathize, might as well express it with kindness and compassion. What do we lose? We may not be able to pay somebody to solve that problem, but definitely we can be there with compassion and say, let me be with you to support this at this time. So compassion is something that we can definitely develop and go on. In the roots, I would say, many people today, one of the good things that happened in the Corona times is people are in the family, so they are actually forced to spend time together, which they were unable to do previously. But now they are finding their own family members. The families are becoming stronger. People are spending in their parents' house in villages because they were not able to do it earlier, and now they are bonding in a way. And yes, it is a very stressful time, and in that, this is one good thing that has happened. Physical fit wellness. How healthy are you physically? And work is therapeutic. When we are passionate about our working, it just elevates the whole thing to a different level. You're not just solving problems for your clients, but you go transcend that and say there's so much of joy in creating something together. Your line of work is such that none of you can function independently. You need to actually depend on each other. So trust is important, and work with very good temperament brings about creativity. We cannot bring creativity if there is no peace of mind, there is no security, there is no feeling of joy. Then only creativity will come in. And you're all working in giving solutions to your clients, which is newer solutions, brilliant solutions. And so your creativity is one of the important qualities you need to bring to your workforce. Like Osho says, creativity is a quality of life it's a quality we bring to our life. The most important thing is relationships. If we are not able to relate to people in a positive, secure, affectionate way, we have to work on it. Lifelong, people have problems with some people and they carry it in their heart. They carry it saying, I can never forgive him for what he did. मरते दम तक हम भूल नहीं जाएंगे. Or in Tamil they will say சாறு வரை மறக்க முடியாது. Why do we say? I'm saying that in the mother tongue because our thoughts internally are in mother tongue. So it is like saying there was a garbage in my house 15 years back, I'm still carrying it, something like that. So your mental wellness has to have these dimensions, and for these, what do we do? So become aware of your mental state. Am I happy today? I love those smileys which says choose what you're feeling today. So it is possible. So be aware. Today I'm not in a good mood. What happened? How do you know you're in a bad mood? So there's some physiology to it. All that you can become aware of. Getting professional help if you need it, take help. Why do I say that? Because people are hesitant. What could have been solved in 2, 3 sittings? They delay, and the problem becomes very big, and then it has to be worked on. Connecting with others, families, friends, relatives, colleagues. In India, we have relatives, but very few people love their relatives. I'm fortunate. I love my relatives. Connecting with others is very, very important. Today, at least one call you make to a person you haven't spoken for a long time, because none of us know who will live tomorrow. Staying positive, regardless of what happens, staying positive is crucial. What is positive in a situation can change from context to context. I have learned how to stay positive even in the face of somebody dying in front of me. That has been the challenge. I have learned that even the moments that you're spending, I was spending with the person when it was her last few minutes. I only asked her. She knew, I knew she's going to end the world at any moment, and I asked her, "What is it that I can get for you, my dear?" And she asked for a raw mango in December in those days, and then I got it and reached it to the ICU and hoped that they would have given. Next morning, she passed away. What is positive is, in this circumstance, how can I be positive? Can I say I have hope? That is what makes us positive. Getting physically active. I'm going to explain why this is important. Exercising, playing, working out. If you have children below 15, please insist they should play every day. Play is therapeutic for children as well as for adults. We don't go physical play, at least mentally, or do games, not the addictive digital games, but carom board that you could play with your family or something. Helping others when there is a need. Getting enough sleep. The urban life is, people think it is a crime to go to sleep at 9:30, but 10 o'clock maximum. So getting enough sleep, at least 7 to 8 hours, is crucial. The brain has to rest, and many things have to get realigned for us to have energy in the morning. And developing coping skills. No matter what happens, we don't give up till the last breath. Hormones that make you happy. This is what I want to explain. How can we stay happy? So generate these happy hormones. The first is serotonin. It regulates the mood, it prevents depression. Today it's fashionable to say I am depressed. It's like saying I am Sumati. So if somebody comes and tells you I am depressed, tell them immediately your name. I am Ashwin. Then you will say, "What? I'm telling you I am depressed." Say you have depression. Don't say you I am depressed, like it becomes a part of their identity. I am a man, I'm a woman. I am the manager, I am the senior manager. Those are different. But these conditions, they can be, one can come overcome it quite easily, and makes you feel happy. Released by getting exposed to sunlight. Now just look at that. Just going out in the sun and spending 20, 30 minutes will generate this serotonin, by eating foods rich in carbohydrates and by exercising. These are doable. If we don't do this, the person goes to doctor, the first thing that is prescribed is antidepressants. What are antidepressants? Heavy doses of serotonin. If we can generate by just eating, sleeping, eating rich carbohydrates, rich food, and exercising, why don't we do that? Next thing is endorphins. Endorphins can make you feel good, reduce anxiety, and your sensitivity to pain. Endorphins are released by exercising and laughing. I haven't added here. Norman Cousins was somebody who got ill very seriously. Below his neck, he could not move anything. This was the 1960s or something. And in those days, when he happened to see, when doctors said there is no hope, it's a very debilitating disease, and so he will have to be bedridden. So he decided to do something about it. And the only thing to just entertain him, somebody brought a film in those days to show him a film of Laurel Hardy or Charlie Chaplin, I'm not sure. So when he realized, and when he saw a film for 2 hours and he laughed, the pain reliever or the painkiller dosage could be staggered. He was on heavy dose of painkillers. He discovered he was the only non-medical person who could write a book on anatomy of illness. Super book where he shares how he overcame that. So he was laughing so much, other patients were getting disturbed. And then he went and checked himself into a hotel. and brought a lot of films of comedy and laughed his way to health. Endorphins, and then dopamine helps feeling mentally alert. Dopamine is a catch. Lack of it might cause lack of attention, lack of concentration, and bad moods. Released by eating foods that are rich in protein. So your dal chawal, your paneer sabji, your whatever protein rich foods you're eating is going to give you the dopamine. However, dopamine is also generated when we are looking at screen. The screen time, it generates a lot of dopamine, and that can actually make somebody addicted to it. So that's a catch set, but that is also helpful. Then you have phenylethylamine, which results in the feelings we get in the early stages of romantic feelings. Now, cocoa beans, that's why chocolate are very romantic. So eating chocolate might be helpful too. So now the last one is ghrelin, reduces stress and can help you become more relaxed. So release when we become hungry. So when you eat, you're hungry and you eat, you're healthy, mentally and physically. Eating too much is also not a good idea. Just eat according to your body's needs and never fill your stomach completely in order to maintain good ghrelin levels. So these are by eating, sleeping, exercising, laughing, relating to people, sleeping well, we can actually be very, very healthy mentally. So connect with people. Now today the problem is people don't know how to connect with people. People work in the same floor, don't speak to each other. Send a mail or a message. They don't greet, they don't talk to each other. And somehow connecting with people has taken a secondary position in our needs. So people ask me, ma'am, I don't have any friends. I don't have any friends. I don't have, it's very difficult to form friendship in a new place. You get transferred. You come to a new place. All your friends are in the other city. How do you connect with people? So I thought I'll include this because I think connecting with people is very, very important when for mental health. Socially connect, find common ground. So don't argue. Give people sincere compliments. Be genuine about it. Follow up on something the person mentioned before. Hey, how is your child? For example. Or make other people comfortable. Would you like to sit here? Would you like to sit there? So be sensitive to people. Open up. Share about self. Hi, I'm so and so. Where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. And then thank people whenever they do something. The small gesture can make a difference. Make an effort to continue relationships. So I saw you today and I forgot about you today. No. So do something to keep the connections on. And that is the reason why I wouldn't use the word social media to keep connection. If you won't have connection with people, have it individually. When my relatives or my younger set of relatives tell me an update that I should know about their life, they have put in the Facebook. You didn't see it? And then I tell them, you want me to know? Message me. Otherwise, I don't go and spend my time with Facebook. If you want me to know, let me know. So I can immediately congratulate you. So connect. Last one is be present. When you're with somebody, be there, not checking messages have come or oh yeah I'm just 1 minute and then yeah okay sorry I had to do that, and that's not being present. Your children actually teach you how to be present. For example, when they come and tell you papa or mama, this is what happened in the school, and then you say and then you're on your computer, they say look at me when I'm talking. And that's how they teach you how to connect and be present with them when they are talking to you, because for a few years they will talk to you. And if we don't listen to them, eventually they'll stop talking. And they'll grow up feeling nobody listens to me. There's no one for me. I am not lovable. And then they don't want to talk. Then, the parents get worried because the child shuts himself into the room, doesn't talk. And then they call the psychiatrist and say, my son doesn't talk to me. Can you do something to make him all right? No, we need to work on ourselves first before we say the child has a problem. So connect with new people. How do we connect with new people? Smile and make eye contact. Now, smiling is something, I wish I could see all of you, but I would like you to do a small experiment. Like you to keep your face serious and close your eyes and watch what kind of thoughts come to your mind. I'll give you a few seconds. Okay, open your eyes and now close again. And now keep your face smiling. I'm sorry, I can't see all of you. I hope you're doing it. Okay, I'm very sure there were differences in the way they were smiling. I mean, the kind of thoughts you had when you were smiling. One act. We don't have to think nice things to smile. When we smile itself, we start thinking nice things. So when you look at people smile, an everlasting smile, a smile can bring you near to me. The beautiful song by Boyzone. Make eye contact. Look at people and smile, and they will feel valued. Doesn't matter who it is. To smile, you don't pay anything. When we smile, our oxygen goes more into our brain, so it's healthier for us. Use a person's name. Find out and use a person's name. Have open body language. Stand like this. Yeah, hello, nice to meet you. That's not being open. So you need to be open with your body language and have conversations, small talk. That is the opening. It's like warming up, Do we gel? Do we vibe well? And then we can connect. Then make the person feel special. So listen to them and say, wow, that's amazing. You must feel it is amazing and say it is amazing if it is amazing. You never know until you talk to people and ask questions. So where are you from, etc., etc., and have positive attitude. No matter what happens, is one thing that can save people. And listen. So when they talk, listen. So one of the things that you can do is listen to your family members tonight as you talk to them, as you have dinner. Pay attention, have eye contact, and be there with them. So staying well, what will you do? What will you do in order to stay well? Watch your internal dialogues. I want to read a forward that came just as I was getting into this session. It's a beautiful one by Martina Navratilova. She was once asked, how do you maintain your focused physique and sharp game even at the age of 43? She gave a humble reply. The ball doesn't know how old I am. Fabulous. You need to stop yourself from stopping yourself. Every game in life is actually played on a 6 inches ground. 6-inch ground. The space between the two ears. We don't live in bungalows, duplexes, and flats. We live in our mind, which is an unlimited area. Life is great when things are sorted and uncluttered there. Keeping the mind messy with hatred growing on the table, regrets piling up in corner, expectations boiling in the ketchup, secrets stuffed under the carpet, and worries littered everywhere ruins this real home. The key factor to performing well in life and in every arena is the ability to control the quality and quantity of your internal dialogues. Performance is potential minus internal interference. Live in peace, Peace, not in pieces, Pieces. Very beautiful. It is said we have the enemy is within. So your internal dialogue, if you are not your own cheerleader, your internal dialogues need to be your cheerleader and say, for example, I make a mistake, immediately a part of me says, idiot, nobody will like you for this. That's not a helpful one. But if I make a mistake and I say, oh, I made a mistake, how did that happen? Okay, let me correct it and take correction actions and moved on instead of feeling bad about the mistake that I have done. And care for your health physically and mentally. An hour a day, half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening. Somehow squeeze in some physical activity which will make you healthy. Today it is said sitting is the modern is a current tobacco. It affects the lungs as much as tobacco does. Very harsh statement, but they're saying it with a reason because if you sit for hours together, it's going to spoil your health. So care for your health both physically and mentally. And physical exercise. Today we have free programs on the net with the YouTube and all that, which you can use in order to become healthy at home without any equipment. Watch for burnout. If, as I gave the signs in the beginning, early signs of burnout or this irritability, getting angry and all that, then we watch whether you have worked too much, do you need a break, etc. Speak optimistically. Even in the dire situations, say we have hope. And laugh as much as you can. Otherwise, do go put on the YouTube laughter club things and then you can see that, and then silly laughter. Research shows even if there is no reason and you laugh, of course, shut the door when you do it. When you laugh, you generate the positive chemical, so it's worth it. The laughter clubs actually help. Use energizing words, positive words. Avoid negative words. And then you will find that And this is for this you can practice meditation and relaxation. Today you have so many apps to teach you meditation. So many schools of meditation are there. This is a time when all these are available in your phone, and the phone which you can otherwise be addicted to unnecessary things can be utilized to do this. Download these apps, and then whichever suits your mind and your body, you can practice meditation, whichever is comfortable for you. But meditation increases immunity. Meditation helps people to get calmness and then face situations in a very positive way. So be a constant gardener of your mind. This is very, very important. And once you do that, thank you very much. That's me. Mauli, any questions? Most welcome.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, they can actually unmute themselves and they can ask questions. We have 10 more minutes, and if
I
people
thought
have
you told
questions,
me by 45 minutes I should finish, and so I thought I will give 10 minutes for questions.
yeah, perfectly fine.
I can't
So,
believe people don't have questions. There are some 50 chats.
Actually, it's a very good session. We came to know there are a lot of things which we are not following in our day-to-day life. For example, going to sunlight is, hardly we do. Get up late in the morning and rush up to office and come back after sunset. So that's very, very interesting one. And a lot of enzymes which you talked about, when we laugh, when we do exercise, all that. It's really a very good information to all of us. I don't have any questions, but I wanted to share this feedback with
Is that Narendra Kumar talking?
you. Yes.
Thank you, Narendra. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, one request. This is Guru here.
Yeah,
Will you please able to share this presentation via email to us so that I can pass it to my colleagues who is not able to attend this session?
sure. I will send it to Mauli from
Sure.
TakeHelp, and he will send it to your group.
And
Let
one more
me start
question.
sharing, Guru. If I'm going to keep the presentation to myself, what do I gain? But if that's going to reach somebody who needs it, what more can I want in life? No,
Sure.
I'll be
Thanks.
very delighted to share.
Thanks. And one more thing, ma'am. One question. How to handle this? The job cut situation, ma'am. That is where predominantly sitting on our mind. Whether do we have a job this month or next month? What will happen to our future? How are you going to run the family going forward for next six
So,
months and
yeah.
all?
So
So
when
these
you're
are all the
thinking,
typical questions are
when
coming.
the current reality is you have a job. The current reality is you're still having a job. Instead of focusing on that and doing it, we are worried about. If planning for a future is different compared to worrying about future. None of us know what will happen next moment. Like as I'm talking to you, my heart can stop and nobody can stop that. But if I am focusing on what I'm doing now, right now, instead of worrying about am I alive, will I die tomorrow or no, then I'm not living. So your fear is valid, but how do you give room to that when you're not guarding your thoughts? It's like, when you are developing a rose garden, one of the important tasks that we need to do is remove the weeds. Otherwise, the weeds will take the nourishment we have provided for the rose. So sometimes the weeds come on their own. Sometimes people plant the weeds. People will come and say, "No, Guru, you're not worried about future. Whole world is going through. Whole world is going through that. What choice do we have other than let me enjoy this moment?" One of the books which is a life turner is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, a must read for every one of us because he was a Holocaust survivor and he's written a book. I mean, he's a person who actually propagated positivism in life. It's only 120 pages. You read that and you realize next moment, none of them know they'll be alive or not. You and I are talking about work. There, they don't know they will be alive or not. So he talks about how even in the moment of very, very serious situation, one can be very positive. Like he shares about the jailmate of his, the person with whom he was, an elderly person, a Jew, and they were being taken for the day's task by the German soldiers, by the Gestapo. So when they were going in the morning, I believe this old man who was very sick, but he was still had to work. He told Victor, Victor, see that beautiful sunlight. how beautiful it is. Even in the morning, instead of thinking, will I come back this evening or will this man kill me when I'm working? He's looking at the beautiful sunrise. So we always have a choice to direct our mind this moment. And if you are all reading, willing to read books, one other book that you need to read is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. He talks about no matter what happens in life, the power is always in the present. Make your present productive, positive, and powerful so that when you think back in the future, you will know how you cross these difficult times. Never give rise to negative thoughts. What if is a killer. If we have a job today, let me do the job. If we have food today, yes, there are so many people out there who are not able to have it. Let's be grateful and then focus on that. None of us can control what is happening outside, but we can definitely control what is happening inside, Guru, and this is very, very important. Thank you for asking that question.
Thank you, madam.
I'm able to read something from Satish Subramanian. Sometimes we end up becoming a support and a source of solace for a lot of people around, but when you look around for help yourself, there is not much available, and that becomes demotivating. How do we replenish and rise again? That's a very interesting question. We need to look at inner resources. Say, come what may, come what, I'm not going to give up. And then what will happen is you will not get from the help from the people you have helped. You'll get help from somebody you never expected. It'll pour in. And even if it doesn't, no situation comes our way unless we have the resources to solve it. The important thing is not to give up. That's very important, Satish. Thank you for asking that question. Nowadays, everyone expects action. This is from Prashant. Action result immediately. Even myself and I, how to fulfill the requirement, we get too much pressure. We are in a world where we want to know the results of pregnancy and the baby should be born immediately. Instantly we want. That's not going to happen. The more we need to be reality oriented there and say, how long does this task take? And between the team members come to an understanding and up the task and say, okay, we feel 3 hours. Can we make it in 2.5 hours? Let's work towards it. That becomes reasonable. So set reasonable goals so you will feel a sense of success instead of feeling pressure. Otherwise, you'll take the pleasure out of work. How to have control over emotions? As I feel it is in nature. What nature? Were you born angry? Were you born temperamental? We saw. For example, boys have permission to be angry. If a boy shows anger, immediately everybody would say, he's a boy, he's behaving like a boy. If a girl becomes angry, that's not good for a girl. So there is no permission to be angry gender-wise. This is one thing. Another is we learn from others that we can be angry and get away with it. Angry or emotional or whatever. One of the things that alters when we are emotional is our breathing changes. So if suddenly you realize, this is why the first step is to be aware of what is your mental state. You realize you're getting angry or something, you're not in a very helpful state. Immediately shut your eyes and focus on your breathing. Your breathing will be shallow. Instead of that, you just shut your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. You'll calm down, and then the damage will be less. Definitely, I can assure you that that's a formula that works. If you're having fear, a presentation you're going to make, and your heart goes thud, 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 and the words are not coming, and you don't know, the whole room is reeling. Shut your eyes and focus on your breathing. Take a deep breath, and then it'll calm you down, and then you'll be able to make your presentation to whoever it is. It's only a human being you're making presentation to. So that's something that you can do. How to have, yeah. Any other question after Prashant? No, this is from Natraj. Okay. Nice session. Thank you. This is Anok Kumar. We're getting angry easily only because of situation. The other people who are surrounded by us many times. Beautiful. But how do you make yourself calm during these times? When you say you're angry only because of the situation, please be aware you become like a puppet. Anybody can make you angry. I want to share here. How much time do we have? Only 1 minute. Okay, then I'll not share that experience. When you become like a puppet, anybody can provoke you. In the same situation, please be aware somebody else is not angry. How come? Like say traffic, somebody cuts you. You get angry. But somebody else says, he didn't know that. So there is a choice in the split second between provocation and reaction. If you take a moment to respond, to choose to respond. How do we do that? Breathing, being silent, watching your words, and then saying. Please don't say a word which doesn't taste good. Because once we utter a word, we can only say, I'm sorry. Can't say, well, in my anger, I said all those words. I didn't mean it. What do you mean by that? The other person gets hurt. How about that? When anybody says with anger and they say we didn't mean it, then do you want people not to take you seriously when you're angry? 95% of the violence in the world is committed in the fit of fury. So we really need to control our emotions by understanding where is it coming from. It is from a pattern. So when you have pattern interruption in a situation where you would have got angry, just be calm and see what happens. How much of control you have, much better than others controlling you and making you angry. The minute you allow somebody to make you angry, they will use it to manipulate. So that's the message I have. We need to work on it. No license to be angry with loved ones, especially. Then we say, if I don't show my anger to my family members, where will I go and dispatch? What about the family members? Where will they go and dispatch what you're throwing at them? Think about it. We are here to choose. This tongue is there to talk loving words. Unknowingly, if I do, okay, now I know I'm doing it. I do this physically if the word is coming out, which is out of your control. Walk away from the person who is making you angry so you will not get provoked. You can do so many things to stop your usual reaction because it's just not worth it. The anger doesn't destroy the relationship alone. It destroys one's health before it destroys the other. Whenever we use words to hurt others, we are only sending a carbon copy. The original is here. That is where it damages. So that's not worth it. Ma'am, I'm very short-tempered. Okay, that's a label you have. I am short-tempered. So please wear a lamp, short-tempered. So people will be careful with you. Always try to control it, but in some situations I cannot. How can I control? I just answered that. Short-tempered is a license, is a label. Shy is a label. I lose my temper. I'm saying use your temper, man. How can you use your temper? What provokes you? Take action to correct it, and then that is using the temper instead of losing the temper. If emotions rule us, they will ruin us. I have one more thing to say. Let's learn a lesson from a matchstick. A matchstick can teach us a lesson about life. When you take a matchbox and you strike with a matchstick, fire is lit, That's because the matchstick has a head and the matchbox has the matching medicine. There is friction, it creates fire. Now, are we not better than a matchstick? The matchstick has a head, we also have a head. Provocation is outside, we also have provocation outside. But the difference between a matchstick head and ours is we have a brain inside, which we can use to think. We have consciousness with which we can use our brain effectively. So if we go to the level of, if I'm provoked, I lose my temper, the whole world will be your enemy. But if you decide, I will use my anger, I'm not saying don't be angry. I'm saying use your anger, then you won't lose your temper. So stop saying, I am short tempered. That is another identity. I have an issue with temper is a better word to use than I am short tempered. If you look at your khandan, somebody else will be short tempered also in the family. So it runs in the family. No, we learn by seeing mirror neurons. So learn good examples of somebody who is calm and then take those and then as a model. All right. Thank you, Shiva. Is that Shiva? I'm not able to, for the compliment. Most of us live in hypocrisy. When the tough situations are fear of failure, fear of being humiliated. Yeah, sometimes we do. In any case, whatever is a mistake will come out. We are seeing people taking wrong decisions in the recent times, how to overcome. I have a message here. I've been a corporate trainer for 40 years and I can say one thing. Definitely, as you say, you will lose some relationship because you brought out something which is uncomfortable. It is like saying, who will say that the emperor doesn't have clothes, something like that. So the person who has the guts to say this is not going to help us, that person will become the leader because they'll be able to make changes. However, you cannot be just calling the shots and what is wrong without bothering about the relationship. So build relationships and then be open. Before that, when you start, it will be like fault finding. Even though you are speaking the truth, they will not be able to take it. I may have missed some questions, Molly, in the initial lot. I think last question I can take if somebody is asking. Looks like it's over. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot, friends. First of all, sorry, I think there is a limitation of only 100 participants in the account right now. We would enhance it from the next program. And this program, we would send the recording to your HR department, which will share it with all of you, and also the presentation, so that those who missed the program can have a catch up with it. Also, I think all this is an awareness session, and in this kind of a program, maybe not all your problems can be handled completely, especially the individual issues that one might have, for which only your organization is contracted for the the counseling sessions, individual counseling sessions. You have website through which you can book counseling sessions. If you have some difficulty, you can call me. My number is there in your uh, uh, email that we have sent you. I am again putting it in the chat. Anybody who has any difficulty in booking calls can call me. Any other issue you want to interact with a professional and you're unable to get across, you can call me. I will definitely try to help you. So
Molly, thank you very much for the opportunity. One parting message is life is precious. Be happy all the time. You have every right to be. Thank you
exactly,
for the opportunity.
exactly. I think thanks a lot for this wonderful session, madam, and all of you, and especially thanks to the HR department of SIFI, Lalit sir, who
Yeah.
has made this possible, where people can actually interact with such professionals. So this is just the start. We will have more such sessions. In fact, next week we'll have one more session. It is likely to be in resilience. We'll anyway come out with the final topic in about 2 days time. Monday or Tuesday you will be getting intimation from your HR team. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you. Have a pleasant evening. Thank you, Mr. Lalit. I couldn't see you, but I
Can you see me, ma'am?
know only till the glasses.
Yeah.
Much better. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a nice session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Sumati, thank you. Just one request. Could you leave the name of the two books you had mentioned about, please?
Yeah, sure. One is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, Viktor Frankl. And then the other one is Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, Eckharttolle. Superb books, life changer.
Thank you, ma'am.
I have left it in the chat. You can see it, Man's Search for Meaning, and The Power of Now. Power of Now is, I have read the book. The Power of Now especially is a fantastic book. Please do read it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chandramouli.
Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mic testing, take the.
Mic testing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.